In old Hollywood, beauty wasn't just admired, it was demanded. Studios built entire careers on a perfect face. But what happens when that beauty fades, changes, or is taken away? Behind the spotlights were women who carried impossible pressure and paid the price for perfection. The golden age wasn't just about glamour. It was about control. Studios owned their stars' faces like property. They demanded perfection under every light. And when that perfection slipped through time, illness, or accident, Hollywood didn't forgive. It simply looked away. Some were scarred by accidents, others by surgeries gone wrong, and many by time itself. Because in the golden age, aging was treated like failure. The mirror became an enemy. The camera became a judge. And these women, celebrated for their faces, watched as those same faces betrayed them or were taken from them entirely. These are 15 Golden Age actresses who lost their beauty in the saddest, most unforgettable ways, and what their stories say about Hollywood's idea of perfection. Their struggles reveal a darker truth, that the industry worshiped beauty, but destroyed the women who carried it. From studio pressure to personal tragedy, each story shows how fragile fame really was when it rested on something as human as a face. Gene Tierney. She had the kind of beauty that stopped cameras, until Hollywood stopped looking. Gene Tierney's face was perfect, delicate features, stunning eyes. She became a star in films like Laura. But behind that face was a woman carrying unbearable weight. Post-war stress hit hard. Her first child was born with severe disabilities after a fan with rubella approached her during pregnancy. The trauma broke something inside. Depression and bipolar episodes consumed her in the 1950s. She underwent extensive electroshock therapy. The treatments left gaps in her memory. Her appearance changed subtly. The spark in her eyes dimmed. She stepped away from major roles. By the late 50s, she was barely recognizable to fans who remembered her golden years. Gene chose survival over stardom. She quietly retreated, found treatment, built a private life. When she returned to acting occasionally, it was on her terms. The woman who had been Hollywood's dream girl learned that health mattered more than beauty. Her story isn't about vanity lost. It's about a mind reclaiming itself. Her face faded from the spotlight, but her courage never did. Hedy Lamarr. They called her the most beautiful woman in the world. Then the world forgot to look deeper. Hedy Lamarr's face launched 1,000 posters. Dark hair, striking features, a face that seemed carved from marble. But Hollywood only wanted her beauty. It ignored her brilliant mind. She invented frequency-hopping technology that would later enable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. The studios didn't care. They wanted her frozen in time. Aging terrified her, not because she was vain, but because Hollywood made beauty her only currency. She turned to cosmetic procedures, one surgery, then another. The results weren't kind. Her face changed in ways that looked unnatural. She became reclusive, avoided cameras, spent her final years in isolation. The inventor who should have been celebrated retreated into shadows. Her mirror had become her enemy. The industry that made her famous for her face never celebrated her mind until decades too late. By then, she was gone, hidden away, afraid to be seen. She was brilliant before she was beautiful, but Hollywood never let her be both. Ingrid Bergman. Time didn't take her beauty. Hollywood's betrayal did. Ingrid Bergman was radiant, natural, glowing. She became America's saint on screen. But in 1949, she fell in love with Italian director Roberto Rossellini. She left her husband and had his child before they married. The scandal erupted. Senators condemned her. Hollywood exiled her. She was banished from the country that had adored her. She didn't lose her looks. She lost permission to age. When she returned 7 years later for Anastasia, audiences noticed something. She looked older, human. The myth had cracked. Some fans couldn't accept it. They wanted the untouchable goddess from Casablanca. But that woman never existed. She was always just Ingrid. She won 3 Oscars total. She worked until cancer took her in 1982. Her talent never faded. But Hollywood taught her a cruel lesson. That moral judgment could erase beauty faster than time ever could. The exile aged her in ways no wrinkle could. It wasn't her face that failed. It was the industry's compassion. Ava Gardner. She faced aging with brutal honesty and refused to fake youth. Ava Gardner was fire, earthy and sensual. Her beauty was raw, not porcelain. She smoked heavily, drank freely, lived hard. She said, "I'm Ava Gardner and I'm a movie star." She owned it all. But decades of cigarettes caught up. Emphysema weakened her lung. Then came 2 strokes in 1986. Partial paralysis, visible frailty. Her face changed. Her body slowed. She needed care. The woman who had been called the world's most beautiful animal was suddenly human and vulnerable. She spent her final years in London, dictated her memoirs, refused to sugarcoat anything. I haven't lived a good life, she admitted, but she lived honestly. Hollywood wanted its stars preserved in amber. Ava refused. She aged in public view without apology. Her face told the truth about a life lived fully. Stress lines, tired eyes, thinning frame, but also dignity. She never chased impossible youth. She accepted the trade. All that living had a price. She lost her legendary beauty, but kept her legendary honesty. Rita Hayworth, the love goddess, faded while Hollywood barely looked back. Rita Hayworth's face was everywhere. Red hair, sultry smile. She was the pinup that launched 1,000 dreams. But in the 1960s, something was wrong. She forgot lines, seemed confused. People whispered that she was drinking. The rumors were easier than the truth. It wasn't alcohol. It was Alzheimer's disease. Early onset, undiagnosed for years. Her cognitive decline showed in her face. The sharpness left her eyes. Her expressions grew distant. By the time her daughter Yasmin publicly revealed the diagnosis in 1980, Rita's beauty had quietly dissolved into illness. Hollywood had moved on long before. No grand farewell, no tributes, just silence as one of its brightest stars dimmed into a disease no one understood yet. Rita's tragedy sparked global awareness. Her name helped fund research. The goddess who had been worshipped for her looks became a symbol of something more important: the need to see past the surface. Her beauty slipped away in silence, but her legacy helped millions speak. Elizabeth Taylor. Her body paid the price for fame and survival. Elizabeth Taylor had violet eyes and a face that defied logic. Perfect, but that face came attached to a body that broke down repeatedly. Childhood back injury, pneumonia, multiple surgery. She nearly died during Cleopatra. As a weapon for good, her face changed over decades of illness, but her fire never dimmed. Lana Turner. Her glamour aged like legend, not fantasy. Lana Turner was discovered at a soda shop, the teenage bombshell, platinum curls and curves. She became the ultimate movie star, but she also became a survivor. Scandals, abusive relationships, her daughter's trial, public drama followed her everywhere. And through it all, the cameras watched her age. In 1992, throat cancer struck. Smoking had finally caught up. Her voice changed. Her appearance shifted. The woman who had been so carefully groomed now wore scarves and sunglasses. She did television, made public appearances. But the perfect image had cracked. Time had rewritten the mirror. Lana never hid. She remained Lana until the end. Poised, defiant. She had lived through so much public pain that aging seemed almost merciful by comparison. The legend stayed intact even as the face softened. She proved that glamour wasn't just about youth. It was about presence. Time changed her face, but not her command of a room. Kim Novak. Hollywood punished its own icon for daring to age. Kim Novak was ethereal in Vertigo, Hitchcock's Perfect Blonde, cool and unreachable. But after she left Hollywood, she wanted a normal life. Painting, privacy, peace. Then came the 2014 Oscars. She appeared on stage. The internet exploded with cruelty. Her face looked different. Later procedures had changed her features. She'd had fat injections, other work. The results sparked vicious bullying. Comments flooded in, mocking, harsh, unforgiving. It overshadowed her entire legacy. A brilliant career reduced to one red carpet moment. One face deemed wrong by strangers who never knew her. But Kim fought back. She spoke out about the pressure, about ageism, about how women are punished for trying to stay young and punished for growing old. She reclaimed her story, returned to her art, refused to hide. The cruelty revealed more about our culture than it ever did about her. She lost her acceptable face, but found her voice. Veronica Lake. The Peekaboo legend faced a hard afterlife of fame. Veronica Lake's hair was her brand, that sweep of blonde covering one eye. Sultry, iconic, but when the 40s ended, so did her career. She was typecast, difficult to work with, they said. Roles dried up, money disappeared. Life got hard fast. By the 1960s, she was working in bars, struggling with alcohol, appearing in small-stage productions. Photos from this era show a woman visibly worn, tired eyes, age beyond her years. The glamorous peekaboo girl was gone. In her place was someone who had survived Hollywood's brutal rejection. She wrote a memoir in 1969. Veronica. It was honest, raw. She didn't romanticize. She told the truth about fame's aftermath, about hardship, about what happens when beauty fades and Hollywood stops calling. She died shortly after, at just 50. Her face told the true fame tried to hide. Survival isn't pretty. Judy Garland, a child star who carried too many adult expectations. Judy Garland sang like magic, but MGM treated her like a machine. Starting at 13, they gave her pills, amphetamines to work, barbiturates to sleep, diet pills to stay thin. She was Dorothy. She was America's sweetheart. But she was also a child being destroyed by a system. The drugs age her fast. By her 30s, she looked exhausted. Puffy face, tired eyes. The spark remained in her voice, but her body was breaking down. Late career concerts showed a fragile woman giving everything she had left. She was 47 when she died, but she looked much older. Judy's face became a map of studio exploitation. Every line, every shadow, every sign of wear. It all traced back to those early years when MGM owned her body and pushed it past its limits. The girl who sang "Over the Rainbow" never found peace on the other side. Her face carried the cost of our applause, and she paid it young. Joan Crawford. Her perfection became her prison. Joan Crawford controlled everything. Her image, her makeup, her lighting. She fought aging like it was a personal war. The routines were severe. Face masks, strict diets, heavy makeup that took hours, plastic surgery. By her 60s and 70s, her face looked rigid, almost mask-like. The control had created something unnatural. She appeared in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, looking fierce and severe. Later films like Trog showed the toll. The careful construction couldn't hide time anymore. But Joan never stopped fighting. She maintained her standards until the end. Plastic-covered furniture, perfect posture, not a hair out of place. Her fear of fading created its own kind of tragedy. She could never relax into aging, never allow herself the softness of time. The woman who had clawed her way to stardom couldn't let go of control. Her face became a testament to willpower, but also to fear. She held back time with iron will. But time always wins. Gloria Graham. The price of chasing an impossible reflection. Gloria Graham won an Oscar. She was brilliant in The Big Heat and Oklahoma. But she was also deeply insecure about her upper lip. Too thin, she thought. She underwent multiple cosmetic procedures. The surgeries went wrong. Nerve damage, stiffness. She sometimes patted her lip with cotton before filming. The procedures created a cycle. One fix led to another. Her face changed in ways that looked unnatural. Close-ups revealed the stiffness. Her career suffered. The fixation had become visible. Instead of erasing her insecurity, the surgeries had announced it. Gloria's story is about how Hollywood's magnifying glass distorts everything. A small self-critique became a lifelong obsession. The studio close-ups and harsh lighting made every feature feel like a flaw. And when she tried to fix it, the system punished her for that too. She chased perfection and found disfigurement, Hollywood's cruelest magic trick. Jean Harlow. A blazing comet whose body quit first. Jean Harlow was platinum fire, the original blonde bombshell. Her hair was shocking white, achieved through bleach and peroxide so harsh it damaged her scalp. But the hair became iconic. So did her face. Pale, perfect, luminous. She was 26 and unstoppable. Then she got sick. Kidney failure. Acute nephritis. In her final weeks, she was visibly swollen. Pallor replaced the glow. Her mother, a Christian Scientist, refused proper medical care. Jean died in 1937. Hollywood was stunned. She was at her peak. Too young. Too soon. Her death symbolized something darker about Golden Age beauty standards. The extreme bleaching, the toxic routines, the pressure to maintain impossible standards. Jean's body simply gave out under the weight of it all. She became a cautionary tale, a reminder that glamour had a price tag written in health. She died young, but the system that built her was already old and poisonous. Marlene Dietrich. She chose the frame, even for her final years. Marlene Dietrich was control incarnate. Perfect lighting, perfect angles, perfect mystique. She performed in cabarets well into her 70s. But touring took its toll. Stage falls in the mid-70s caused injuries. Advancing age made performing impossible. She withdrew to her Paris apartment and stayed there for years. She allowed one final cameo in 1978. After that, silence. When documentarians came calling in 1984, she agreed to participate, but only her voice. No cameras, no photographs. She narrated her own legend from behind closed doors. The woman who controlled her image for decades refused to let age have the final say. Her seclusion wasn't vanity. It was power. She decided when the curtain fell. She chose her last shot. Even in withdrawal, Marlene stayed in command. Her face aged behind locked doors. The world only heard her voice. Cool, measured, still magnetic. She disappeared on her own terms, and that was the ultimate control. Clara Bow, the girl who chose silence. Clara Bow invented the flapper. Wild, free, electric. She was the original it girl. Mega fame hit her young. Too young. The pressure was immense. Tabloids attacked constantly. Mental health struggles followed. By the early 30s, she'd had enough. She retired from Hollywood, barely into her 30s. Later, she sought treatment. Shock therapy in 1949. Periods of isolation. Health issues changed her openness to the public. She rarely allowed photographs. The woman who had been everywhere suddenly disappeared. The it girl became invisible. Clara's choice was radical. She walked away from fame, found a quiet life, raised her family, refused the spotlight. Hollywood didn't take her beauty. She took herself back, away from the cameras, away from the pressure, away from a system that had chewed her up and spit her out. She didn't lose her beauty. She lost interest in performing it. In the Golden Age, beauty was a currency, and it always came with a debt. These women paid it in silence, under lights that never turned off. Every wrinkle, scar, and shadow they carried was proof of survival, proof that they were human under the makeup, that they aged, suffered, and endured just like anyone else. But Hollywood didn't want human. It wanted porcelain. It wanted frozen perfection. And when these women couldn't deliver that anymore, through illness, time, or simple exhaustion, the industry looked away. It moved on to the next perfect face, left these legends behind like yesterday's news. Yet their stories matter more than their faces ever did. They reveal the impossible standards, the pressure, the fear, the control. They show us what happens when beauty becomes both crown and prison, when aging is treated like failure, when women are reduced to their reflections. These 15 actresses didn't lose their beauty. Hollywood lost its compassion. Their faces may have changed, but their stories still shine brighter than any spotlight. They survive an industry that want to consume them. And in their struggles, they showed us something more valuable than perfection. They showed us resilience. They showed us truth. They showed us that behind every Golden Age goddess was a real woman fighting battles we never saw. Time softened their faces, but history sharpened their legacy.